Welcome to the God Awful News. Welcome to my channel, All Good Things at All Good Time, where it's always a good day to be alive, even if, the news is terrifying. Woo! It truly is. There's so much bad news. I'm so sorry. It doesn't need to be bad news. We could have just good news all the time. What if someone like me was president? You know what I mean? Anybody with that's not bad. Whew, we have terrible people running this country. It is scary. So let's talk about all the stupid shit Trump is doing, all the evil, dangerous shit he's doing, and all the evil, dangerous, and shitty people around him, like that evil Stephen Miller. Oh God, is he a terrible, terrible example of a human being? That's, oh my goodness, So, okay, I'm really sorry. Oh, and by the way, I'm going vertical. We're trying an experiment out here. What if that has, for some reason, different results than sideways or horizontal? Who knows? This is a beautiful day out there. I was thinking I should swim first because it's another thing I haven't been doing enough of, and but then I thought, well, either way, it's productive procrastination. Either I do this and I procrastinate doing that, and this is in some way productive. Interestingly, in the revenue category, now that this is a monetized station, I'm about to get my first check for $122. It's in the mail, supposedly, with taxes taken out, so that'll be interesting, see how those are assessed and broken down. I'm earning sometimes $1 to $1.30 or $1.40 a day, which is up from when it started out. It was like 50 cents. So that's cool. Some days it has gotten up to $2 in a day. And these videos are producing like an aggregate of like, aloha, Tam, of like $2 each one of these videos. So this hour, the hours of preparing for it, and then the hour of doing it pays $2. So that's some money. It is a milestone, is what it is, though. Also, it is a leap in the air for joy, because when you start a YouTube channel, you just hope that someday you can make $1. Will that ever happen? You hope for it, you dream of it, you imagine it, and then when it happens, which it just did, it's pretty exciting. Even though it's not very much, that's okay. It still is what it is. And I'm gonna turn on all the other bells and whistles. I'll try to figure out those. I have to make like arbitrary decisions on how much I would charge someone to advertise, how much, where I should set the membership levels at. I don't even understand what those stickers and emojis are. Whatever, I'll try to figure it out. So that's that part of it. I'm hoping to go to canoe practice soon. So I hope to report to you that I went to canoe practice, John. But I can't do that yet. If I want to be a real man, I need to start showing up to canoe practice. And I went down and talked to the head coach at the club I'd like to paddle at. I paddled with this club my first year here in '98. So I have, I'm familiar with the club elders. And hey, Gussie. And so I need to show up, though. There's a big funeral on Saturday or Sunday for Big T, an old friend, a guy I paddled with. He was in that club. I paddled practices with this guy going back as far as '98, who just passed away, and everybody loved him. It's funny because he barely talked. He never talked much at all. He just let his actions speak for himself, and it's amazing. Anyway, it's amazing how many people love this guy and know him, and are gonna, it's gonna be a huge event. But he's probably the most soft-spoken guy ever. So, just kind of interesting. A guy that never spoke almost is just gonna have just huge turnout because he was so loved by so many. Sorry. Ooh, didn't intend for that. Whew. All right. Whew. Yeah, it's one of the side effects. The PTSD is, that happens. All right. So, okay, so back to the channel. It's interesting. So, but I recently figured out that I can look at who is a subscriber, right? And then I can rank them in subscriberships, basically showing me who among my subscribers are trying to build subscriptions of their own. Of course, I can only see the people who, like me, are crazy enough to let everybody see who they subscribe to, right? But for those people, I mean, it's a long list, right? Starting with people with tens of thousands of subscribers down to 200. I subscribed back on every single one, out of respect. And that's what I always send, like, messages to these guys that I really like on their channels, like, hey, subscribe back, because I would love it if any of the guys that I watch, for the news would subscribe back to me. That would make me so happy. It would be so inspiring. It would be so fun to know. But then also you discover these people's channels, right? You just start thumbing through them, and it's really interesting. And unless they're like a Nazi, I have no reason not to subscribe back. So yeah, and then on that note, I clicked on one lady's channel, and she had some kind of conspiracy theorist, a little bit like stuff, but not too much. I mean, it was, it's all good. But one of the videos on there was really cool. It was about a guy talking about how cancer doesn't like a certain pH in your body, and all you need is baking soda to help fight cancer, create an environment in your body that cancer doesn't like at the certain pH, and the way to consume your baking soda is, mixed with maple syrup or molasses and so on. And I found that very informative and interesting, and something I may actually do. I have maple syrup and baking soda, and I don't want to get cancer, so. And I do know that you can adjust your pH with baking soda. That's just a kind of basic fact, right? So, yeah, interesting. Anyway, so thanks for subscribing, and for those of you who show me that you're subscribers to everybody, you show up on my list, and I just subscribed back to hundreds of people. I must have like thousands of subscriptions, It's just kind of funny. Anyway, so that's a lot about nothing. All right, let's get into all the crazy, terrible news, weird news. Trump wants to turn Alcatraz into some intimidating, horrible place to send immigrants, or anybody from the press that doesn't like him, like all of us. Or, my God, everyone who ever went to a protest, or anyone, or judges, or lawyers, right? This expression from Shakespeare or whatever, kill all the lawyers, that's coming up right and left everywhere, because that's what he's trying to do through executive orders. He's just signing new executive orders right now while we're talking about the corrupt, unlawful executive orders of 2 days ago and of 25 days ago, and every single one of them has been just an awful abomination of the law, and needs to be fought in court. And the people who care, who are fighting this, are winning, but it takes a little time, and in the meantime, people get screwed, and it's just crazy what they're doing. It is so Orwellian. It is everything that, war is peace. Ignorance is strength. Freedom is slavery. Or slavery is freedom, right? Those are the. It's right out of George Orwell's 1984. I don't think I ever read that book, but I just watched the movie for school, and then and yeah, and boy, is it like. Anyway, all right. Of course, they're attacking the Federal Elections Committee, the FEC. They made sure that they're not appointing another person to the board, so it doesn't have a quorum, so it hasn't been able to do anything, and it won't be able to do anything. But while they're not doing anything, they're just dismantling it from the inside out, and they're gonna try to rig and fix and just destroy our free and fair elections that we've always had, that Trump lied about. Anyway. Of course, we've done more than 1,000 airstrikes on Yemen, and we've killed just hundreds, if not over 1,000, innocent civilians in the crossfire. It is a weird obsession of the white supremacists that are running shit now. It's just it's awful, and how could you not understand? Like So the Palestinians right now are just getting mercilessly bombed every single night. Still, 1,000 people were killed in the last 10 days from overnight. Last night they bombed them and killed another 50 people. Every night they kill 50. It's not really in the news, but every single night. Now they're forcing migration into parts, and now they just because those Palestinians are putting up such a big fight. What the Israelis need to do is call up tens of thousands of soldiers for a greater offensive, which is literally what they just did today. Tens of thousands of soldiers brought up from the national reserves to create a much larger offensive on Gaza. They want to militarize everything. So all of the aid, any food distribution, everything will be done by the military. That's what they want to take complete, and then force the evacuation of everyone who's left that they haven't killed. It's easier for them to, not have to move someone somewhere else if they can kill them in the meantime, and they are working so hard at it. They have lost all, I think, credibility in everyone's eyes that has eyes and a brain. Like, there's just no way you can look at that and not see it for what it is. It's just the worst shit ever. And being against genocide isn't terrorist. Jesus, and that's how these dipshit Republicans are trying to spin it, right? It's just so weak. Anyway, so Stephen Miller, if you haven't heard it, he put out this just sick and twisted thing about how we need to teach our children a certain way. So bottom line is, he's telling states, we're not going to give you any money for school. No money. No schools get any money. If you're not teaching them what we want you to teach them, which is going to be some George Orwell, mind, brainwash, thought police, crazy shit, right? And so, I can already predict the future. It's pretty easy. Future news is states are going to say, screw you. That's fine. Okay. We'll just pay for it ourselves. We'll just figure it out how to pay for all of our educations, because there's no way in hell we're going to let you nationalize our educational system and turn into this Nazi youth training camp, which is what they want to do. Rewrite history, oh God. Kids are being taught to hate America. That is the biggest pile of shit ever. God, Stephen, this guy, who said well by that nice young man, Rick Strom, who I think happens to be Jewish. He's like, can you believe it? A Jew who's a Nazi? He's like, that's what we got here. I'm like, well said. Anyway, of course, Trump's learned everything he's ever learned from television, and he happened to watch the draft, of course, we all know, because he had to chime in on a particular player, Deion Sanders' son, and now he thinks he helped the guy get drafted. Anyway, he decided, oh, he's like a petulant child, of course, and a spoiled little child who wants whatever he wants, and he thinks he can just get whatever he wants, regardless of its legality or what stands in its way or who. And of course, he has Republican allies in the NFL who want to save money on taxes, country club Republicans. And he's got the NFL now. They're going to come to Washington, D.C. and do the NFL draft in Washington, D.C. like next year or something like that. So he's just manipulating shit because he's president. Meanwhile, he's just taking joy in literally just denying Americans their rights. Freaking, oh, this horrible thing that happened in Oklahoma where if you watch Jesse Dollemore showed the footage, the drone footage of the vehicles that came to this innocent American woman's house, the wrong person's house, in the middle of the night, smashed in, forced her and her 3 girls out into the street in their underwear, wouldn't even let them put on their clothes, stole all of their phones and tablets and laptops and cash, life savings, and then said, "Oh, you're the wrong person. Sorry." And I mean, terrifying. But 15 armed vehicles go there. What a bunch of pussies! And why can't they just go knock on the door in the daytime like civilized people? I mean, my God. Or call them, you know? Why don't we just call people? Go down the street maybe, call them and say, "Are you home? Would you like to give yourself up peacefully?" You know, like, All right. Oh, my goodness. Oh, so I changed one of the pictures on one of my videos to this lilikoi picture that I just asked AI to make. Like, if I could paint, if I was an artist, that's the shit I would do right there. It's the most beautiful flower ever, as I've said before, but there's a good rendition of it now on the cover of one of my videos. And I've been playing with that a little bit, throwing different pictures up there. Anyway, all right, so let's see now. You might have heard this already from me, but a friend of mine sent me a text asking me if I was still living rent-free, and I texted back, "In your head." So that happened. And now I'm paying rent, just a tiny little bit of rent, but I've just paid rent for my second time, which is interesting. I don't have much longer here, maybe 6 months, something like that. I don't know. So don't know where I'm headed, but I got faith it's gonna work out. Oh, I sent an email. So I decided to just shoot for the stars. I've become frustrated with trying to. These smaller theaters are booked all the time, and it's been more difficult than it should be to just book the theater and do a show. So I've decided, and in both cases, I tried to show up with cash and say, like, can I just fill out some paperwork, pick some date? I don't care. In the next year, I'll give you the money. It'll be reserved. And then oh no, you got to go back and I'm gonna send you an email. It's all gonna start with an email. So then I do that, and then nothing happens. And anyway, it's frustrating. So I'm gonna. I just sent an email to the biggest venue, the Maui Arts and Culture Center, which is the biggest place you could rent out to do a show. How's that for confidence? And I'm gonna just rent the theater. I don't know how many it holds, but I don't know how much it costs. I sent a request letter email, explaining who I am and name of my show. It's gonna be called Finding My Marbles, Life After Losing Everything, and told them I'm gonna sell it out. And yeah, so but my mom, when she passed away, left me a little bit of money, and I'm hoping it isn't too much money to rent the theater out. Maybe, I don't know how much actually. We'll see. And then I hope to be able to sell it out and make the money back, I guess, right? But it's worth a shot. So, and then once I can get that place booked, I don't care if it's 3 months or 6 months, it'd be a huge deal. Then I can go to work trying to just sell this one freaking night, right? And that'll be fun for that period of time. And that'll be a reason for me to go and just talk to strangers everywhere, which I like to do anyway, no matter how much it alienates my kids. So, yeah, and then and basically also another story. I don't know if I've reported on it yet, but our mayor is now going to get paid more than the governor. His salary is going from 140 to 240, $100,000 increase. It's just, how does that not seem sort of corrupt? Anyway, to me, that seems like a pretty attractive job. Like I could, want to have all sorts of political offices in the world that might allow me to have a positive influence on people in the world, here, there, and otherwise. But I mean, why overlook mayor? It's $240,000 a year. That's so much money. It's an incentive to want to run for office, if nothing else. Anyway, so of course, if I had this theater booked, it would be my job to go around the island and basically campaign for my comedy show. Right? What a sneaky way to potentially actually be campaigning for mayor. If I so choose to try to do that, right? What a great roundabout. And then, of course, it would be very helpful for me to be a canoe paddler and someone who somehow suddenly becomes a popular, well-known name in comedy and so on. And then this YouTube channel, right? Maybe I could sneak out a victory. And it might be kind of cool to have somebody who survived the fire to be running the county. At the head of helping the people who need the help, understanding their plight better than most. So, better than anybody. So that's interesting, right? So we'll see what happens on that email. I sent that out. It took a lot of confidence, but I just was like, why not have confidence? Let's just have it. Then of course there's all this talk because it's now just coming closer. And it's going to be a thing. Trump's going to spend $120 million of taxpayer dollars, on a military parade. Oh, meanwhile, if you don't know this is really scary. Here's some really bad news. They were projecting that they would have to borrow $200 million to shore up the budget deficit just for this quarter, right? But they're spending more than ever before. They spent way more than Biden did. But what about the phrase fraud, waste, and abuse? What about all these cuts? If we're actually making all these drastic cuts and destroying all these services that the American people rely upon for their survival in many cases, why aren't we saving some money? But no, we're somehow spending more money on a whole lot less. And now the actual deficit at the end of the first quarter is going to be $500 billion we have to borrow just from this first quarter of Trump's. It's the most fiscally irresponsible regime in American history. And the backdrop to that is, in the business world, other countries, all of a sudden, because Trump's such an asshole, they don't want to buy our bonds, our U.S. treasuries, which would have been the people buying them. So we are headed for, and then now that the dollar is getting weaker and weaker, it's starting to have very negative effects on different aspects of the business community. People's collateral for different things, and so on. There's a story being done about Taiwan and on that subject, but I'm sure it's other places too. So, yeah, and we're taking in a lot less money because the IRS is being dismantled and we're producing less, we went from having a good, increase in gross domestic product, and now we are in a negative. We are retracting. We are constricting, restricting, which is why it makes no sense that the stock market is holding up so well. It's got to give here again, I think, pretty soon. I have no confidence in the stock market. Last week was so weird. It just stayed basically level all week. It resisted going down, and today it was up and it ended up down a tiny bit, but basically it's just flat. But all the news is so terrible. Like right now, they're saying, okay, well, now is when those tariffs effects are going to hit. Now, today is when the car cost is going up $10,000. Today is when we finally feel the pinch from the supply chain disruption. The things that would be on the shelves won't be there today, right? They're saying that in the news today. And still the stock market is like, hey, we're just not going to notice. So when is the stock market going to notice? I think the stock market's going to notice pretty soon. I don't think you or I should have a lot of confidence in the stock market. You know what I'm saying? So Castle Theater. Yeah, he's at. I think that's the theater at the Maui Arts and Cultural Center, and that would be so cool. And I know I could fill that place up, man. Between tourists and freaking locals, and given a period of time to sell it, I will individually, like, personally interact with every single person that buys a ticket in that obvious or through here, and if not, also try to get people from my viewership here to come here just for that, which would be hella cool. Anyway, but yeah, so and then of course Trump talking about doll rationing. If you haven't heard him say it, oh yeah, well maybe kids will get 2 dolls instead of 30, because he presumes every kid is like he was. He was the kid with 30 dolls. Okay, that's where he gets that from, because his experiences are so limited. He's very transparent. You can tell. You can see right through him. Yeah, he was the little pain in the ass, spoiled, awful, narcissistic, sociopathic kid that had the 30 dolls and then stole the other kids' dolls just to see the look on their face. Oh, God. Worst 100 days in American presidential history, that's for sure. Okay, and then Virginia Giuffre, the girl who recently committed suicide, who had been sexually abused by Jeffrey Epstein, by Prince Harry, by Alan Dershowitz, and so on, and God knows who else. She just committed suicide, right? And Nancy Grace, that lady who investigates things like this, she's on the case. So that's cool. I talked about that right after this. There have to be some attention given to this. And I watched her a little bit of her show the other day, and she's like, 4 girls have committed suicide. And I didn't know there was 4 girls committed suicide, but now I do. And so it seems like more of a possible corrupt scandal, because, yeah, I don't trust any of those people. Jeffrey Epstein, everyone he was ever connected to, are all the worst people. All right, including Donald Trump, especially Donald Trump, which is where all of the girls were recruited out of, or many of them, right? For all the underage girl shenanigans. They were recruited at Mar-a-Lago, who hired 15, 16-year-old girls to do massages. All right. Signal chat is weird. There's got to be more to the story. Like, it's got to, I mean, is it like really in an Israeli, like, who started this? This is like an FBI or a CIA or a Mossad, secretly created freaking chat thing that, or once it infects your phone, it's in your phone, it infects your phone. Like, you got to wonder about the layers of corruption of Signal Chat, because all of these super corrupt people want to use it so badly, and they're still insisting on using it. And when I recently got it seemed like catfished out of a comment. I made a comment on Tennessee Brando, and this guy that made his name up that was with the Tennessee Brando as the first words, and then sent me back saying, "Hey, chime back at me at Signal Chat." So I became a Signal Chat. I downloaded it. I interacted with, I don't know if it was Chat GBT or like I imagine people are actually trying to scam people, just telling Chat GBT, okay, respond to that, commanding it to respond in certain ways. I don't know, but that's weird how it came into my life, and then I suspect if in the future news we're gonna hear some corrupt bullshit about Signal Chat, how it was originated, who's really running it, what's really in the code, you know what I mean? Shit like that. Yeah, that's what I suspect. Of course, Taiwan has to worry now about getting attacked, and just like Ukraine and Gaza, because Trump doesn't care about anyone but himself, and he'll do whatever for another dictator, because he really admires other dictators. Like that military parade is going to be right in he's going to call up Kim Jong-un and go, "Hey man, you see my military parade? This is better than yours." At least that's what he's hoping, he can pull off. It's so weird. And then of course, we really want to bomb Mexico so bad. We asked the president of Mexico, "Hey, do you mind if we bomb your country?" And she's like, "Yeah, no, we don't want you doing that," right? And that's how it starts, right? They ask nicely. And they're like, "Well, we asked. So now we just have to take matters into our own hands." And now that they've deemed the cartels terrorists, that designation gives them a legal play to then use force, right? It's all just lies to create death. And it's transparent. We can see it. And they just militarized the border, which isn't supposed to happen. We aren't supposed to have United States military on U.S. soil, but we do along the border because that's a national security threat. And it's all very devious, and it's going to lead to us drone striking what we think are cartels, and we're going to be killing people indiscriminately. These enslaved workers, family members, children. We'll just start bombing them like we are in other places. It's so reprehensible. It's so awful for us Americans who are citizens of a country that's just turning to absolute shit. And all the talk of Armageddon and the combination of these psycho evil robots, basically these people that want evil robots to take over the world, combining with the freaking psycho religious people who think we need Armageddon to find Jesus again. And I guess there's some Armageddonism in the Jewish church too. We know Mormons are expecting it, and they all think they're going to be the ones that are saved and they come out okay in the end. And then there's the techno robot psycho AI people that want to just depopulate the world so they can have more of it to themselves. It is crazy because they're all getting together, working against everybody, and it's a dog fight. And it's scary to watch. All right. Switching to beer. The best deal at Safeway right now for $23.99, 8.2%, and that's where you get your value. More alcohol, less money. All the other 12 packs for $24.99, which is more than it used to be. But it's this Elysian Space Dust IPA. That's what I'm drinking, 8.2%. So, one ought to be enough. All right. Still looking for Moosehead. I'd like to support Canada. Okay, let's see what else going on. Okay, and then there's Canada, and we continue to threaten Canada, including with like, I mean, are you kidding me? Like, oh no, we're gonna take it by force. Is that really what? Anyway, the president of or the prime minister of Canada was elected because he opposes Trump. They were set to ignorantly elect a stupid right-wing Republican in their country, and thank God Trump is so alienating that saved them from themselves, and there's no way they're gonna let us take them over. It ain't gonna happen. And man, I just can't imagine any soldier wanting to take arms up against his fellow citizens, against Canadians, against people in Greenland. I mean, and to be asking them to do that. And then they talk about how the military is more popular than ever. More people want to join than ever. I think that's because it's probably the opposite. I would not want my kids to join the military right now for a second. I would not trust them to these people for a second. Holy shit. Anyway, and not to mention, yeah, and then Panama Canal too, another country we've threatened. And now we've made it okay for us to have our military lining the Panama Canal, which is, it can't lead to anything good, right? Because it turns out you can't trust America all of a sudden. So sad. So Elon Musk is out. He's supposed he's going to maybe work 1 day a week or something. But he is out. And we knew that was going to happen because... and he's also out of Tesla. The board of Tesla is working on forcing him to resign as the CEO also, which helped its stock price a little bit marginally recently. But I don't think people are still going to... Nobody's going to buy a Tesla in Canada, in Europe, and 3/4 of the Tesla purchasers of the past will never buy a Tesla. So I think the market is significantly reduced for those cars forever. But we'll see, you know. And will his robots save him? I don't know. Or all the free money he gets from the United States government. Who knows how much he's stealing, you know, from the Treasury. Where is all that money going from the Treasury? If we have to borrow $500 billion and we're providing no services to anybody, we stop giving people food, our children food, our poor people food, the starving people around the world food, you know, because we want to save money. And now we can't pay our bills and we're spending more money somehow. It's just, of course. That's who Republicans are. And when they talk about being fiscally responsible, it just makes you laugh. And then people somehow believe their lies. And you're like, how could you be so stupid? But people do believe their lies. They just say stuff about themselves and people just believe it. Makes you want to drink a little. Oh, you know, there's one thing never talked about when it comes to abortion, right? And it's all these men, right? Like Herschel Walker, right? He paid for several abortions. Like among these Republican men and assholes that want to take away women's reproductive health care. Like, how come no one's making the point that like any selfish, narcissistic, selfish man who wants to be sexually active and who might make a mistake once in a while freaking loves the fact that women can get an abortion and maybe give them a get out of jail free pass, you know, save them 21 years of child support, right? And safely and affordably. Like, that is in men's self-interest as much, or if not more so, than it is women's. And all these fucking Republican men act like they never were these guys in high school or college or whatever. Oh no, we're just perfect people all the time. Our condoms never break. Contraception always works perfectly. Like, come on, man. Anyway, that's the one thing that's just never really talked about is how much women's right to reproductive health care benefits us guys who don't want to necessarily start a family unless we really want to start a family. Right? Not just good for the woman too. She has control of her body, her life, and it gives men a get out of jail free pass, for Christ's sake. And somehow they hoodwink men into voting against that shit. Anyway, yeah, it's just something never brought up on it. In that whole sphere of discussion about abortion, ain't nobody talking about how great it is for guys. Let's see. Saturday Night Live was okay this week. Of course, the news is always the best part. Yeah. They try. They really need me on their writing staff is what they need. And of course, it's in the news quite heavily. If you haven't heard, we deported, and it's so unusually cruel, right? You know, an American man has an undocumented wife, 2 children, and his undocumented wife is getting deported, and she's told, well, you're gonna decide what you want to do. Either leave the children here or take them with you. You know, forcing that on her, having to leave everything and then act like it's the. What I love is how they act like that's the virtuous thing to do. We're giving her the choice. We don't want to force her to make her kids foster children. She can take them back to Mexico. It's not our fault that she's illegal. And they sure quickly, if you haven't noticed it, they went from saying we're going to go after these, rapists and murderers, which is just so annoying and so overplayed. And now, they were here illegally. They were breaking the law. They were criminals by that account. So based on the fact that they were criminals because they were here illegally, they were working 65 hours a week, 70, 80 hours a week, 2 jobs, raising a family, going to church on Sundays, drinking a 12-pack afterwards. God bless these people. Great people. Best neighbors ever. And we're treating them like criminals because they just exist here, right, in a mixed family. And it is just despicable. And it breaks Americans' heart. Like, I'm trying, I'm doing my best, staying positive, Now that I'm a global influencer, I need to stay positive and be a leader amongst many. But goddamn, if you're human, how does it not affect you to some extent? It's just way heavy on your heart knowing there's all this pain and stuff, and it just keeps going. They just keep rounding people up. That case of the kid in the Bronx, 19-year-old, just innocent, really innocent, sweet boy, never broken a rule in his life, a good student, a good worker, a good son to his father. They show up for one guy who's not there, and they say, oh, well, we'll just take you anyway, for shits and giggles, for the fun of it. And he is one of these sweet, doesn't have one tattoo on his body, one of these sweet, innocent, many of which were sweet, innocent boys, happens to be Venezuelan. So he was sent to fucking El Salvador. Trump is such a piece of shit, and he just celebrates, and these people with glee, and they're just so happy to get rid of these people. Oh my God, it's too late to try to turn America into a white fucking country. It hasn't been white for a really long time. And then they want to open up concentration camps in Angola and Rwanda, so they can send people so far away it's impossible for them to ever make it back here, because of course, that's what they're going to want to do. If they're separated from their families into other kind of gulags and concentration camps in Africa, and then that plays into this thing that Republican white supremacist assholes have been wanting to do since slavery. right? Since the end of slavery. Send them back to Africa. You wait. They'll figure out a way to send black people to Africa. That'll be part of it. But also any Venezuelan or El Salvadoran or Mexican or Haitian or, oh, we just deemed 2 Haitian gangs terrorist organizations, which then allows us to conduct military operations against them, even including drone strikes. I mean, it's just this our country's becoming so barbaric so fast. It is it's head spinning. Anyway, again, they're trying to kill all the lawyers, because that's where you start when you're trying to seize all power and control. Martial law. Oh, so most recent executive order, which is totally unconstitutional, is martial law. We have now martial law. We have a military parade coming for sure. 100 and yeah. So part of the 500 billion we can't pay is 120 million of it's going to be this military parade. But now we have martial law. We the little, like, I don't know if you heard this, but Nosferatu and Dr. Evil had a baby, and they named him Stephen Miller. And this little, yeah, I just, his evil tick is just so slimy. Oh, I can't watch it because it's just, yeah. Oh God, I wonder if he lost his head because he was given so many swirlies in junior high and high school. You know, that poor head in the toilet getting swirled around so much. Maybe he just wore all his hair off. But that evil little bastard who wants to inflict pain on as many people as possible because some bully or some bullies out there inflicted so much pain on him, he just needs to spend his whole life getting back at him. I've seen this before in my own life. And my ex-wife is kind of like that. Trump is exactly like that also. So, oh God. So yeah, what was the language he used? I got it here somewhere. It's so bad. Oh God, it is so bad. It was unleash law enforcement, something like that. What is it? I wish I know it's here somewhere. I'll find it. Oh well. Anyway, yeah. This recent. It's like a couple days old. He just keeps writing more unlawful things after another. But it's unleash the and go after anybody that tries to get in their way. Just throwing all your rights out. Habeas corpus getting thrown out the window with this one executive order. And so, yeah, we literally now have, although that'll be attacked in the courts and overthrown for the next, till it is, however long it takes, nobody has literally any rights in our country. Anyway, and so now some Trump lawyers are suing the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, right? Which I think is sort of a tactical error to go after the Supreme Court. I think you're going to piss him off. I think you just did piss him off. I think that's going to piss him off and make him say, fuck you guys. I have been holding your nutsack all this time, and you should be like this? I don't know, man. And, you got Amy Coney Barrett sometimes showing some heart, some soul, some compassion. Maybe that's because she's a woman. She's not completely void of a soul and some empathy. But let's see how that turns out. Interesting. I mean, that's a scary fight. And, of course, no one is too high. They'll go after anybody. They're threatening to lock up the governor of Wisconsin right now. If you haven't heard that news, this veiled threat to lock up the governor of Wisconsin. I mean, come on, man. This is just straight anarchy from psychotic assholes who are not representing the American people. There is no mandate. We're all so sick of them saying that they were elected to do this. No, they weren't. Oh, God. No, they fucking weren't. All right. God, sorry, there's so much bad news. So then there's Trump. And what amazes me is there's still ever enough people that would ever vote for him. After he literally alienates every fucking group of people so brutally. You know, whether it's the black community or the disabled community or women or people from any other country or like trans, like he just attacks everybody. But now he's just pissed off Catholics because he furthered an image of him as the Pope, you know, because that's how he is so delusional. He has so many mental health issues. His delusion is so grand that, yeah, he sees himself, hey, why not, maybe I should be the Pope, because, you know, he's that spoiled little freaking pathetic child that just thinks he should get whatever he wants. I want to be the Pope, you know? Then, like, people think I'm, like, almost like God. They already do anyway. Like, anyway. And interestingly, 7 out of the 9 Supreme Court justices, or 6 of them, are Catholic. I don't know if that affects their thoughts at all. But I think he insulted a bunch of Christian people. Interesting. Gotta love it. And some of them might just be people who vote for him. And then, of course, everyone loves to talk about how, you know, J.D. Vance is the angel of death. Don't visit with J.D. Vance. You might die afterwards. There's so many jokes like that out there. It's so great. Oh, let's see. Oh, and then Trump recently even said another number. $37. Who needs $37? And he's like, due process. We can't have due process for all these people. You know, like he, yeah. And then the tariffs are just total chaos everywhere. Here, there, everywhere. Pissing off everybody. Japan, China. We still have 145% tariffs on China. They have 125% tariffs on our shit. It's crazy. It's ignorant. It's stupid. It has nothing to do with sound economic philosophy. Our country was founded on free trade. Adam Smith, The Wealth of Nations. If you let people make stuff, sell stuff, and agree on a price based on an agreed price, supply and demand, finding market clearing price, it moves us towards maximum production possibilities, right? We maximize our potential, our production potential. If everyone is just allowed to buy and sell stuff without trying to control that stuff too much, taxing it too much, or, you know, just allowing it to flow, allowing everyone who's best at everything that they do to make what they're best at and then exchange that for the things that other people are good at making. It's a simple concept, right? And it doesn't make you poorer when you're buying stuff from other people. Anyway, right? You don't go out and eat at McDonald's and then come home and then call them up and complain that they let you buy stuff there and you got a trade deficit with them. And that's what Trump's doing, and it makes no sense. Anyway, and who knows what sort of backside corruption, you know, how he's getting paid off, all the different ways now through the meme coin. That is by far the greatest corruption as far as financial corruption ever seen, even trumping his own financial crimes of the past. It's amazing. And Trump's supporters, the Republicans, have no morals and no spine and no ethics. They have no values. If they did, they would be doing something about this, right? My God, 53 senators are just carrying his jockstrap. and 218 House of Representatives just don't care about our country or humans or the Constitution or the rule of law at all. I mean, how big are those bribes they're getting? How big are those bunkers they're going to live in? Because that's all they're going to, I mean, anyway. Yeah, so much corruption. Between the executive club, which is a club that gives you access to the president, it just costs $500,000 a year to be able to hang out with the president. That's Donald Trump Jr.'s club, or this $2 billion deal in the Middle East from some Arabs who are going to pay $2 billion, and they're going to use the meme coin to pay for the transaction, right? And at this point, Trump has already earned $100 million off his meme coin in transaction fees. He's made $100 million, and every time he golfs, it costs $30 million. And so, and that's one of the scandals out there. He took $300 million from FEMA to pay for his golf. And meanwhile, he's not paying anyone in FEMA anymore, right? So all these red states that are getting destroyed, and that's part of the news seemingly every day, is hurricane or tornadoes or extreme winds or extreme rain or hail or flooding in all through the Midwest, especially in red states, and now they're getting nothing from the government, who is somehow spending more and doing nothing. It is so suspicious. I want to see the balance sheet. Where's every penny going? God, if I was president, I would just want to see where every penny goes. Why would that be so hard? Accounting is accounting. Every dollar is known. It's a known entity. You know where it goes. You know where it comes from, right? Why would that be so hard? Anyway, if I ever get into politics and succeed in being elected, that's the kind of shit I am going to be really interested in, and I'll have access to all the data, and it'll be so fun for me to just crunch basic numbers, right? It's not complicated math, right? The basic 6th grade math is all you ever need. You can add and subtract, supply and divide, do percentages and ratios. It's all you're ever going to really need. And that is all you ever really need to be able to figure this shit out. And so where's the money going? $500 billion deficit from the first quarter of this year. All right. And, we asked Mexico, can we bomb you? She's like, no, duh. But that's going to be where it starts. Well, later, of course, they'll say, well, they didn't allow us when we asked them, so then we had no choice. We just had to. Judge Ludwig said, Trump is a constitutional denialist, right? Just like an idiot who tries to pretend that slavery didn't exist or the Holocaust didn't exist. Now there's all these Republicans that pretend that the Constitution doesn't exist. Yay, Republicans. Good job. You guys are so cool. And then Amazon was going to put the pre and post tariff amounts, but then Trump intimidated them into not doing that. Intimidated Jeff Bezos into not doing that. And from what I understand, it was only going to be for the guys doing the shipping. So it was for the big units they were shipping, coming and going, it explained it to them, which would be useful if you're going to pick up a container, to know what the pre-tariff and post-tariff costs are and would have been for that container. I assume that affects other aspects of the shipping process. There's wildfires in North Carolina creating disasters, and Trump's FEMA will probably have no ability to do anything about it. Australia also, their elections are changing. They are so fucked. They have this shitty. Rupert Murdoch owns Sky News. It is the most twisted, Fox News bent, weird, shitty news channel you've ever seen. That guy Piers Morgan comes from it, and it is just garbage. Anyway, so there's this infection like herpes of god awful conservatives in Australia. But thanks to Trump being so repulsive, those guys are becoming less popular real quick, and they're losing in the elections. And so Trump is inspiring people who are not Hitler-esque Nazi dictator, Republican traitors, and in every country that they're at, they're losing now. They're becoming less and less popular thanks to Trump being so repulsive. Bill Belichick's in the news a lot because he's got a 24-year-old girlfriend. I don't know, what is he, 70 or something? What if they have a kid, right? He'll be 80 and she'll be 34 with her 10-year-old boy and her 80-year-old husband. Man, this is a lot like Caroline or Levitt, whatever her name is, the press secretary. Anyway, funny because the whole world is like, oh, it's so gross. I don't know, apparently somebody said something, maybe his girlfriend said something, maybe his 24-year-old's in control. I missed the interview, I missed whatever it is everyone's talking about, but he is in the news a lot right now. It's funny because he got a 24-year-old girlfriend. Old man Bill Belichick. All right, there was almost a mass shooting at a Lady Gaga concert. There was a mass shooting in Houston, thanks to those Republican gun laws, making sure there's all the guns in the world on the streets, making sure criminals have as many guns as they could ever want. That's what Republican gun laws do. They ensure criminals will have all the guns. They got this weak saying, if you outlaw guns, only outlaws will have guns. Well, right now, all the outlaws have all the guns. So good job. You succeeded there, which is, of course, the point. Then everyone's afraid. Then everyone who isn't an outlaw has to buy 10 guns also. And the gun industry gets rich, and the NRA gets rich, and then they just give lots more money to the politicians that keep voting to protect them, right? Allowing them to just keep selling, military weapons. A judge blocked the order of saying, look, point by point. Apparently it was very well written, saying the 1798 Insurrection Act is not valid because we are not at war, and cited example after example, and it would be pretty hard to overturn. Maybe it'll go up to the Supreme Court, but the 1798 Insurrection Act as a mechanism to deport people to El Salvador has been stopped. So we'll see if they even abide by it. Of course, Tom Homan doesn't give a shit about anybody or anything. He is there's so many disgusting Republicans, but Tom Homan has just got to be as repulsive or more repulsive than any other human on earth, aside from all the other Republicans that are working along with him to destroy and dismantle this beautiful country of ours. Also, a judge blocked the orders going after attorneys, right? But there was carnage for a week or so. They lost cases, couldn't take cases. Definitely cost them a lot of money. Of course, we have trillions for defense, pennies for the people, right? Trump wants to raise the defense budget $136 million while everybody else suffers. That's what's in this bill. And the 25% tariff on auto parts goes into effect today. Like I already mentioned, today is when all those prices go up. If you go try to buy a car, it's going to be $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 more today. Shelves at Walmart are supposed to be vacant. I'm not going there because they're one of the Project 2025 donors. And I'll never go there ever again as long as I live. I'll never buy a Tesla. I'll never listen to Joe Rogan. I'll never watch a UFC fight. I'll never go to McDonald's. I'll never go to Target as long as I live. This is not just a temporary boycott for me personally. This is lifelong, baby. Lifelong. And all those companies. If you haven't seen it, go to Project 2025 donors. Look for Sunny. Tell the people with Sunny. Tell the people with Sunny has a video. It's had almost 2 million views, and she goes over every company that supported Project 2025, the Nazi manifesto, and Donald Trump in this last election, and almost no support at all for Kamala. So if you want to know who paid for this nightmare, the corporations, and who to punish, I recommend you go there and you do that. You need to know the list, learn the list, study it. There needs to be an economic embargo. It's the best way to get Wall Street to wake the hell up. Wall Street is so asleep on the wheel. And I watch freaking ignorant fucking right-wing assholes, many of them, in the business news, talking all day long, and none of them are smart enough to recognize this truth. They're all living in denial. They have no clue that there's this movement to say, fuck you. You supported the fucking Project 2025 for life. Like, yeah, this Nazi shit, that's not cool, right? Taking a Klansman and a Nazi into the voting booth with you, that ain't cool. You corporations and you people who did that. And so, yeah, I'm just amazed that there isn't, like, if there should be a fund manager who's like, okay, this fund is going to be comprised of companies, could be any company that I like, but the one thing that we will always omit is anyone who ever supported Project 2025, right? Just like there's mutual funds and there's ETFs, exchange traded mutual funds, that are comprised of like all green companies, right? Or all good dividend paying companies. There could be one that's comprised of all companies that don't support the Nazi state, right? And I just haven't heard anything to that effect in the business news. Not one person mentioning that stuff at all. I mean, they barely even talk about it with Tesla. They keep trying to talk about how it's no big deal and Tesla's just gonna be something of the past that everyone's gonna forget about it. It's just wrong. Americans are playing for keeps. We are playing for keeps. Tell you what, we take no shit. And of course, evil Republicans want religious schools to get money, right? But see, they're not smart enough to understand that if they open that floodgate, well, Muslim religious schools can get money, and Scientologist schools can get money, and Jehovah's Witnesses, and Mormons, and Jews, and Rastafarians, and the atheists, and any organization be able to get money, right? Same way that some Christian right-wing Catholic school are going to be able to get money from the federal government. So that's going on. I think that's headed to the Supreme Court. Gotta love how they're just eliminating jobs for women, right? Women work so hard for so long to get where they are, and right now they just want to like undo decades of progress in a week. And God, I just pray that women freaking take the challenge on, because I mean, if women work together like they didn't in this last election, I mean, no one could stop them. They'd be the most lethal threat to anything and everybody and everything. American women are more brave than any of the men. They're tougher than anything. And so we can only hope and pray that they take this assault on them personally and stop being Republican fucking dipshits. 53% of white women just embarrassed the shit out of me voting for Trump. It's so gross. Oh, it's so gross. Women got off their couch, filled out a ballot, or they went down to vote. Like they went to vote. They actively took the action to go vote so that they could lose their right to vote. Imagine voting to lose your right to vote. That doesn't make any fucking sense. But that's what 53% of fucking white women did. You stupid fuckers. Oh, God. 92% of black women voted not for Trump. The one group apparently is the smartest, non-easily. Like, if you want to know who you can't con, apparently it's black women. They're the smartest amongst us all. I didn't know that until the election. The election proved that to us. That's for damn sure. God damn. No wonder white people been trying to keep black people down. They're so damn smart. Pritzker gave a really inspiring speech. There's a cool billionaire, you know what I mean? There's a couple cool billionaires out there. Pritzker's one of them. His family's donated a lot of stuff to a lot of good things too. Like they're philanthropists, and that's the kind of legacy you want to leave. If you got a lot of money, if you have money at all, and you want to leave a good legacy or any kind of legacy, if you want to go to a heaven, if there is one, if you want to have class, there's one thing that equals class, and that's generosity, right? When you go out to dinner, if you leave a 20% plus tip, you have class. If you're Tiger Woods and you don't tip, you got no class. Tiger Woods don't tip. Tiger Woods has no class. You might have all the money in the world. People might think he's respectful because he can golf well. He's a piece of shit. He's got no class. So, yeah, good job, Pritzker, for being a philanthropist, for having class, for being generous, and for not being a white supremacist billionaire, because we got way too many of them. Tom Homan broke it down really well. Is that his name, Tom? Yeah. The course that we're watching, right, which is inspired by the Ziklag. Everyone all keeps asking, why is this? Who is this kid? There's a blah blah Ziklag group. Check the tape. Go to Democracy Now. Watch Amy Goodman talk to ProPublica and break down the Ziklag group. That's the evil shit deep state, the real deep state that put this plan in effect. It's 8-9 months old now. It happened before all this, and all you're watching is the exact playbook that they outlined. That the Ziklag, the Christian nationalist, psychotic asshole billionaire families that have grouped together to try to manipulate every aspect of American life, all 7 pillars. Anyway, I showed it in one of my videos, but I mean, people keep saying, I don't understand. Where did this come from? Anyway, so Tom Homan's like, this is how it goes. First, they attack the press. Oh, sorry. I just couldn't read my own handwriting. First, they attack the press. Then they criminalize dissent, right? Which is me. I'm dissenting right now. And they're going to criminalize me. And they come to my door someday, apparently, for not being a dumb shit Nazi. Who isn't, you're standing in the way of our national purpose and our national security because you don't believe in the psycho-Nazi set of beliefs, which is what they're getting at, right? It's psycho. Anyway, attack the press, then criminalize dissent, then intimidate lawmakers, and intimidate lawyers, and intimidate judges, and consolidate power into one person, right? And that's what they're working on. That's what they're doing. Oh, God, with Francesca, what's her name? The Bituation Room lady. Used to be with TYT, talk shit to Cenk Uygur. And he's a big pussy, so he fired her. He is a big pussy. And I just love how he talks about how, I talked about that first. I was telling you about that before. He's just always the guy who's got to tell you that he knew this was going to happen every time. Like the I told you so guy, which is, I mean, but my point is, if you were watching him, you already know that he told you so. So you don't need to have him tell you that he told you so because you already were told so. But nevertheless, so I'll try not to do that too much, even though I'll be right a lot. Yeah, it's so sick seeing the son of a Cuban immigrant, Marco Rubio, just frothing at the mouth, just chewing on and being happy about the idea of just mailing people away to Africa into concentration camps there, in addition to El Salvador and any other abhorrent place they can get people to build. Just wait, Russia's coming. They're going to be taking prisoners to Russia next. Oh, it's Siberia. You just wait. And at Trump's 100-day rally, these sick and twisted sadists. I mean, they are just sick. Mentally ill, religiously mentally ill, politically mentally ill people. We call them Republicans. They played the video of these innocent boys being paraded into the prison at Seacott, and they cheered, and they cheered for death camps, for concentration camps. Again, if you haven't done it, if you think you can handle it, just zoom in on Google Earth to Seacott Prison. And in the middle of the prison, the top, there's a couple sheds. Zoom in. It'll look like a 20-foot wide, huge blood stain on the ground next to a bunch of bodies. You can't see it that clearly, but it's so freaking haunting. Kyle Kalinske covered this. Another lady did a little deep dive on it and found out that there were 3 contractors, and one of them was a contractor that builds veterinary hospitals that have the ability to, of course, do euthanasia, and they incinerate, pet bodies at veterinary clinics. I guess they have their own incineration devices. And so the suggestion is that maybe they have some of those qualities built in from a company who does that. And in addition, there's that shed with the freaking pile of flesh-like looking corpses, although it isn't totally clear. I just wonder if somebody has like a clearer, like if you have a paid subscription to Google, can you get a clear view of Seacott Prison? But it is the most haunting, sickest shit ever. When they say people go in and never come out, it may be more dire and haunting. It might be right on par with Adolf Hitler and the Holocaust. I mean, it is just, and the conditions are even worse than the concentration camps, right? I mean, they have everything is the same but worse. They're being starved, except they don't have any. They don't even give them clothes, and the lights are on 24 hours a day, and there's no blankets or pillows. There's steel to sleep on, and they can't speak. They can't even speak to each other, and they're beaten and tortured, and I mean, and so many really innocent, good Latino boys were just sent there, and they're being, dehumanized by being referred to as gang members when they aren't. They were just Venezuelans, and the idea was who's going to know, who's going to care. We're just going to do this. It's going to be performative. Our base will think it's great. I mean, it's just awful. It's god awful. Merhual Gutierrez, his father, Willimer, February 24th, 19-year-old, sweet boy. Merhual Gutierrez, February 24th, was just picked up in the Bronx, right? His dad didn't know where he went. He was taken to a detention center. 10 officers came to apprehend someone else. That person wasn't there. And they said, oh, we're going to take you instead. They just grabbed him indiscriminately, locked him up, and then he got sent to El Salvador. A kid who doesn't have any tattoos, has never done anything wrong. Merhual Gutierrez, just one of them. And then there's the soccer player we know about. And then there's that other father we know about. And then there's Kilmar that we know about. And then there's the nice gay hairdresser we know about. And it's on, and we know 90% of them don't have a criminal fucking record. And we're referring to them as rapists and murderers and thugs. Meanwhile, who is saying that? An adjudicated rapist. Isn't it great? And someone who is literally committing murder around the world en masse, loves clearing out death row, right? Bush Jr. killed 3 people on death row. No other presidents have in a long time. Trump 13 in his last one, and he's going to double that this time because he loves killing people with impunity. And so he's using starvation to kill people, bombs to kill people, anything, everything. Attack on science, medical care, health for benefits, suicide hotlines gone from the from the vet. He's killing people in every way imaginable that you could, through basic neglect, but also through actions taken. And isn't it great that he's out there saying, "Yeah, we got to go after these murderers," even though I'm the biggest one in the world. Next to, I mean, who he's going to be ranked among what, Pol Pot and Genghis Khan and Adolf Hitler, and like, who are the people who killed the most people in history? He gonna be one of them. He already is. And so, I mean, he killed 500,000 people by neglect with COVID. So, oh God, it is just brutal. Yeah, wouldn't it be great if we had like anybody that seemed. This guy Mark Elias is such a freaking national hero. He interviewed with 60 Minutes. I watch him all the time. He is the best. And man, what if he was president? Or Jasmine Crockett, or someone like Brian Tyler Cohen, or any of the boys and girls at Midas Touch. You know what I mean? Like, there's all these nice, normal, competent people that care, that are knowledgeable about so many things. Like, what would it take to get someone like that in charge? It'd be so great. Anyway, but I mean, I think all Americans, like myself, need to be willing and interested in, no matter what it takes. If the opportunity presented itself, if there was some path to become president, there should be 10 million people that want to become president of the United States, you know, that have a heart and a soul, and that want to do good in the world, want to bring the most good to the most number, right? Like, we need 10 million people to want to become president, right? I know I could do a better job than many of the people I've ever seen, anyway, and so could you. Anyone could do a better job. So anyone with a heart and a soul. Anyone. That's like, I mean, like 100, 200 million Americans, 300 million Americans, including children at the age of 10 and up, could do a better job than every one of these Republican dipshits that is just soulless and godless, if there is one, and void of any human values, characteristic. It's befuddling. I was thinking I should do a word of the day. Today's word, you know, like when Mr. Robinson did the word of the day, said, today's word of the day is bitch. Go to your mommy and say, you bitch, I'll wait. Now, if you weren't alive for that in the 80s, that was like one of the greatest, funniest Eddie Murphy bits in the history of comedy. And it was formative. I laughed so hard. Anyway, but on that note, I should do like a word of the day. You know, let's all increase our vocabulary. You know, and I was thinking befuddled would be a good place to start. Anyway, or any of the words that we hear, that we use, but we've never written, like quintessential. I've never written quintessential. I've never seen it written, but I've heard it said all the time. And there's other words like that I've been noticing. So, but nevertheless, anyway, at this point, from now on, I am just, this is hubris. I've gone through all the news, a lot of it today, and it was all bad, pretty much, I think. Yeah. What you gonna do other than smoke a little weed, maybe drink one adult beverage, get some exercise, go get some endorphins, you know? Oh, and then of course they want to go after anyone who harbors fugitives, right? Because we all want to protect Anne Frank. If Anne Frank is going to get sent off to a concentration camp and killed, we might just want to protect her. And so, of course, the evil federal government is warning us not to do that. We don't want to obstruct their form of justice, which is so unjust and cruel. But be aware, they're very likely tracking people with obviously the flock surveillance on cars, right? If you're an immigrant and you're driving a car, I would never park anywhere near. If you're staying at a friend's house to protect your life, park a mile away and walk. And your phones, right? Get those Faraday cages. These things. This is the big one. The big Faraday cage pouch. I wonder how soon I will want to use this. Maybe everyone should have those. Like every time you leave your house, you should just put your phones into a cage that doesn't allow any transmissions, so that when you drive around, no one can ever track your whereabouts through your phone, right? Because it's almost impossible to do anything on your phone with apps without consenting to somebody that you'll let them know where you are, right? Like Uber. If I want to drive Uber, I have to consent to that. So there's just one of the many spies in my phone, right? But so many apps do that, right? And then they aggregate that data, they sell it. People can find out every move you make right now publicly. You don't know that. There are data brokers that are selling some haunting shit. I just saw a big story about, I can't remember the name of the company, but it's crazy. So I think these things should be common, and what a great defense. But yeah, we also need to outlaw flock surveillance. It is so bad, this stuff that it's all, yeah. Meanwhile, Palantir's doing better than ever. They just reported their earnings and outlook, and everything's better than ever, of course. And they've got all sorts of evil, dubious plans that you can't trust. Man, it is just a sick combination of religious psychopaths, psycho doomsday billionaire tech robot people, and then every other crazy person who's like, Armageddon, yeah. And that's a lot of crazy people. Anyway, what you gonna do? I don't know, man. I don't know. Be thankful, we got each other. We got we got jokes. Can make jokes. And we have an adult beverage from time to time. And and someday we'll have my comedy special to laugh at. Hopefully. Man, how cool would that be for me just to rent out the biggest theater I could on where I live for my first ever actual show. I mean, I did that Bringing Funny Back thing was I got to open. I was opening for Mark Price, who was Mallory's boyfriend or whatever on or friend boyfriend sort of on Family Ties. And it's so weird. I look back at he started doing comedy as a kid, and he's this poor guy. He's been putting on this act, and he's traveled the country, and he's just been hammering away at it. And he's one of these guys, when he did his 1 hour after me, first of all, he was annoyed by me because people laughed. And he was like first thing he said, condescending, he was like, let's have another round of applause for Craig. Anyway, he was kind of bitter and talked about how women wouldn't have sex with him anymore, or they would, and in this place they don't care, or that place, whatever. It was weird. And then I see this way too often in comedy. The motherfucker that pulls out their phone. And they're like, all right, I got something here that's funny, and it's like, come on, man. The phone is just it's a buzzkill for me when I'm watching comedy. Anyway. All right. Well, listen, you all have a great day. Hopefully if you're watching this silly live stream of the ocean all day long, if you see someone swimming laps, that'll be me. But of course, right now I'm watching it, and there is somebody just lounging in the pool now for hours, which is an obstruction to me swimming laps. These people that just stand in the pool all day drives me a little nuts. It's a real misuse of a good pool. Not that there's anything wrong with it. I mean, sometime like that's cool, but all day? Anyway. There's other places I need to swim out there in that ocean is what I need to do. I did make a video swimming in the pool with a GoPro on just to see what that would look like. So I haven't looked at it yet, but I'll probably post that just because it's experimental. And I like to post experimental videos, and we'll just see what it looks like to swim, because then I can, of course, bring that experience out into the ocean. I can swim, but it's not like a snorkeler where you're just looking down all the time, right? I got to breathe, and it's a different experience, a virtual swimming experience. Would that have any value? Would it be cool? Would it be just annoying? I don't know. But once I put it up there, I'll watch it like 20 times, and I'll judge the shit out of myself, and then I'll make some determinations. But nevertheless, I did that. But yeah, I need to get in the ocean. I need to start going to canoe practice. I did swim 100 laps yesterday, so that's good. Or day before yesterday. So I need to swim. I need to keep doing that. That's one of the best ways to train for paddling, because it's almost all the exact same muscles. So anyway, all right. I'm talking too much. You all have a great day. It's a great day to have a great day. Remember, if you just say these words, it's a great day to be alive, and you remind yourself that that's what you should be thinking. And then when you think, oh yeah, that's what I should be thinking, then you start thinking what you should be thinking. And then every moment of your life when you think it's a great day to be alive is really a moment where you have found the meaning of life. Because that's what people are always like, what's the meaning of life? Well, is it a good day? If it is, then you found it. It's not complicated. So keep enjoying your day and finding the meaning of life. And let's pray that the world is still around in a few more years, and we can get these terrible, dangerous, mean people out of positions of power, and the world will seem a lot more cool. Oh, I was thinking, I got something funny, a little bit funny. Because, Joe Rogan, obviously, he ain't smart. He wears skinny jeans with holes in them. He not funny. He's not cool. He's none of those things. So, as I approach becoming a global influencer, I can easily characterize myself as someone who, unlike Joe Rogan, has an IQ above Republican, is funny, doesn't wear skinny jeans with holes in them, and of course that is also part of what it takes to be cool, which I am, and he is not. Anyway, that's my message to you, Joe Rogan. You could be cool if you wanted to be more like me, but you don't. You want to support these Nazi fascist pigs. I don't get it. And of course, there ain't no such thing as conservative comedy, and that's a great way to ruin everything you could ever do if you're trying to be funny. Just to base your humor on some sort of hatred for some group other than you. Anyway, all right. Love you guys. Do no harm, do no crime. Thanks for watching All Good Things and All Good Time. And see you soon.